You look fantastic. The car is washed. The outfit is perfectly curated. The coffee in your hand is artisanal, single origin, and costs roughly the same as a gallon of gas. If someone looked at your life from the outside, or more accurately, if they scrolled through your life on a screen, they would think you have it completely figured out. You have the aesthetic of success dialed into an absolute science. But underneath that very expensive, perfectly filtered exterior, your bank account is screaming for a lifeline. You're playing a high-stakes game of financial dress-up, and the admission price is your actual future. Welcome to Sketch Sense, where everyday money problems get broken down in plain terms, without the fluff. There is a quiet epidemic happening right now, and nobody wants to talk about it because admitting it feels like a failure. We are surrounded by a culture that demands we look wealthy, while actively selling us the very financial products that guarantee we stay broke. We are buying the aesthetics of being rich, but we are paying for it with our peace of mind. Let's be honest about what this actually feels like. You know the feeling. It's that subtle, low-grade knot in your stomach when you swipe your card for a dinner you know you shouldn't be at, with people you don't even genuinely like, just to maintain the vibe that you belong there. It's the exhaustion of payday arriving. And before the money even gets warm in your checking account, it is instantly vaporized by a dozen different auto drafts, payments, and installments. You're doing everything right. You're working 40, 50 hours a week, and somehow the math still looks offended. You look rich at brunch, but your resting heart rate is hovering around 110 because you are mentally calculating whether the direct deposit will clear before the credit card auto pay hits on Monday. It is the paradox of modern success. We have never looked better, and we have rarely been this stressed. So, how did we get here? How did the baseline for a normal life suddenly require a luxury budget? It starts with understanding the rich person starter pack. We've been conditioned to believe that wealth is something you can see. We think wealth is the luxury SUV, the designer logo subtly stitched on the chest, the first-class boarding pass casually visible in the corner of an airport coffee photo. But here is the brutal reality. Those things aren't wealth. Those things are just evidence that someone spent money. Actual wealth is incredibly boring. Actual wealth is invisible. It's a spreadsheet. It's an index fund quietly compounding at 7%. It's the title to a depreciating asset sitting securely in a fireproof box, totally paid off. Wealth is the absence of anxiety. But society doesn't reward invisible wealth. The algorithm doesn't care about your emergency fund. The algorithm rewards the aesthetic. So, we finance the aesthetic. We take out loans to buy things that immediately go down in value, just so we can signal to other people that we have value. It's performative consumption. We are financing a lifestyle we cannot afford just to maintain a curated narrative for an audience of people who are too busy worrying about their own curated narratives to actually care about ours. And corporations know this. Oh, they know this better than anyone. They have weaponized our desire for status, and they've done it by fundamentally changing how we buy things. We used to live in an economy of ownership. You saved up, you bought a thing, and you owned the thing. The transaction ended. But the modern corporate machine realized that selling you something once is a terrible business model. Why let you own a product when they can charge you a monthly fee just to access it? We are trapped in a cycle of perpetual payments, trading true ownership for the illusion of convenience. We have slowly allowed corporations to strip away our equity to manufacture endless debt. Think about the mechanics of your daily life. We don't buy software anymore. We subscribe to it. We don't buy movies. We subscribe to 5 different platforms just to figure out we have nothing to watch. And it's bleeding into the physical world in ways that are frankly insulting. You don't just buy a car anymore. You lease the car, and then the manufacturer asks you for an extra $18 a month just to turn on the heated seats that are already physically installed in the vehicle you are driving. You are literally renting the heat in your own car. We are turning our entire existence into a recurring monthly bill. Everything is a subscription. Everything is a payment plan. You can now use buy now, pay later apps for a pizza. Stop and think about that. We are financing pepperoni. We are taking out microloans on calories that we will burn off before the second payment is even due. This is the trap. The aesthetic of wealth requires constant upgrades, and the modern economy is built to provide those upgrades through perpetual debt. They sell you access. They tell you that you don't need to own the car. You just need to subscribe to the driving experience. You don't need to own the phone. You just upgrade it every 12 months for a flat fee. It sounds so convenient, but what is actually happening is that you are systematically giving away your ability to build a net worth. You are trading your future equity for present-day aesthetics. It's like getting squeezed by two people who both insist they're not touching you. You feel the pressure of the payments, but you have nothing to show for it when the music stops. When you prioritize the appearance of wealth over the mechanics of wealth, you enter a cycle of permanent stress because the aesthetic is fragile. If you lose your job, the real wealthy person cuts back on discretionary spending, but sleeps fine because their house is paid for and their investments are liquid. If you lose your job and you are fake rich, the entire house of cards collapses in 30 days. The leased car gets repoed. The credit cards max out. The subscription life abruptly cancels you. Being fake rich is exhausting because it requires constant maintenance. It is a full-time job where the only compensation is the fleeting validation of strangers. So, how do you break the cycle? How do you dismantle this predatory psychology of access before your entire life becomes a line item on a corporation's balance sheet? First, you have to kill the ego. You have to willingly step off the aesthetic treadmill. You have to look in the mirror and decide that you would rather actually have money than just look like you have money. This requires a radical shift in how you view status. The next time you see someone driving a $100,000 car, stop assuming they are rich. Start assuming they are paying $1,400 a month for a depreciating piece of metal, and they are stressed out of their minds. When you change the lens, the envy disappears. You stop wanting to play their game because you realize it's a game nobody actually wins. Second, you have to fall back in love with ownership. Stop renting your existence. Stop financing things that do not go up in value. If you cannot buy the television in cash, you cannot afford the television. If you have to use a payment plan for a pair of sneakers, those sneakers belong to the bank, not to you. Reclaim your equity. Cancel the subscriptions that are quietly draining $20 here and $15 there. Saving helps, but at some point, letting these micro subscriptions drain your account starts to feel like using a coffee mug to stop a flood. Plug the holes. Third, embrace the boring reality of financial independence. The path to actual wealth is not glamorous. It will not get you likes on Instagram. It involves driving a reliable car for 10 years. It involves cooking at home instead of swiping a card for a $30 delivery meal. It involves taking the money you used to spend on the aesthetics of being rich and quietly buying back your freedom. Freedom is the ultimate luxury, not the heated car seat subscription, not the logo on the bag. Freedom is waking up on a Tuesday and knowing that if your boss yells at you, or the transmission drops out of the car, or the economy takes a weird turn, you are going to be fine. You have a buffer. You have assets. You own your life. It is time to stop playing dress up with your finances. The corporations have had enough of your money. The social media feed has had enough of your performance. Let the aesthetic go. Be okay with looking a little more average on the outside so you can build something unbreakable on the inside. Because at the end of the day, financial peace is the only status symbol that actually matters. If this episode hit a little too close to home, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment with the financial nightmare you want us to decode next. I'm your host. Thanks for listening to Sketch Sense, and we'll catch you next time.